go. Acciderat aliud post ride derum. So, very short. Another dire thing, acciderat, happened post ride, the next day. Or aliquid, something dire happened the next day. 4. Enum. A turbo ventorum. This is a turbo is like a spinning of the wind, so a whirlwind. Ex ortis means it arose, so this turbo has arose of the winds. Consitens, which means exciting up. Plurusque, and exciting up many vertigines. So vertigo is a just again the same sort of thing. Whirlwind maybe or something. Ita thus confuderat omnia tecta. So all the roofs, literally is what it means, were mixed up, confederated together, so that multa tabernacula, these are the tents, which these tectas or roof is literally the same thing, I suppose, as a tabernacle, which is a tent. They were ripped apart, conskiderantored. And pleriqui, very many milites, soldiers, were supine, which means on their back, actually on their stomach, and proni. Proni is on your belly and supine's on the back. And they were sternoranto, it means they were strawn about. So it's a massive storm of whirlwinds. Spiritus stabilitem vestigi subverted. So this is a present participle in the ablative. So this spiritus of the wind subverted, it turned the stability of how you stand, and vestigum is a neuter. It usually means your footprints or something, but it can mean the sole of your foot or even a horse hoof. So it looks like with the spirit of this wind turning and the stability of just their feet, probably something like that. Necmenas. So neither was there something less. Eodem. And the same day, event means happened. Aliud periculsum. There was another danger that happened that was not less. So on the same day, another dangerous thing happened, which was not less in danger, I'm assuming. Not less disturbing. Amni anum repente. So, for the Amni, the river, suddenly, in the ablative, the river suddenly evagated. So it looks like it's wandered out. Extra margins, outside its banks. Mercisunt, so submerged were quaedam frumentarian naves. Certain grain-bearing ships were merce, submerged. Avulsus cataractus, means they were ripped apart by the cataracts, which ad defundendus and que and reprimandus, the waters, were accustomed to stiffen. Structures built out of, this work was built from rocks or something strong. So defundus and this one is repressing the waters, and this one is letting the waters out. So it looks like they were built out of stonework with some these cataracts, and they were suites, accustomed to control whether the aquas, the waters, would stay in or go out. Anyway, they suddenly burst out of their banks and submerged some ships. Okay, quad utrum bar, so which was either utrum through insidious, which is plottings, and means or at a kidra that happened by the magnitude of the fluentums, by the magnitude of the flowing waters, we are non-potuit sciri, not able to know. Remember, they're able to irrigate. We get the word irrigate from rigare. So they didn't know whether it was done through enemy actions, the insidious, or just from the amount of massive water of the flowing waters. Okay. 12. Post perruptam incensem qui urbem. So after they'd burst in and burnt this city, which was actually the primam urb, this was the first city omnium of all of them, and they had transmissos the captives and transferred the captives, certia iam spe provectus exercitus. Now there was a more certain hope. that the army was provecting or bearing or carrying, ad fiducium, more hope to their fiducium, so what they were trusting in, they believed in it more, and with elatus vocibus, with raised voices in favores principis consurgibet. So there was a surging in favour of the princeps, the leader, with elevated voices. Ad fore, this comes from ad sum, that to them even then existimans, they were thinking that calestem curum, this is that means the heavens where the gods live. So the cura means like the care or the future worries would be with the gods. It looks like they were thinking. Et quia, and because per regions ignotus, they were going through unknown regions. Suspectior, you're right. They were more suspectior de obscuris, from these things that they couldn't detect. Here again we have cura, which we had there. So they're taking more care of things that are in these unknown regions of the obscure things. Looks like the astutus gentis, because it was the cunningness of the races there, and their variatus ludificandi, and the various ludificandi. Looks like it's a gerund, and they were fearing at Timberbantor. So they were fearing the cunningness of the races and their playful inventions, or various playful things that they would invent, it looks like. Idioque. And for this reason, the imperator was now anti-Cygnus, up at the frontline skirmishes before the standards, and now coendis agmines. He was with the columns here, which are forced together, insistens, cum expeditus velitum. The velites are very lightweight skirmishers. The expeditus means they're unencumbered. So basically he was standing with these people, insistens, that nequid, that lest not lateret abstrusum. They should not be with something that from that's hidden away. Here we have a verb, scrutabato. So they scrutinized all these squalida frotecta. This is a neuter in the plural. It means thickets and scrubbery, and squalida means it's like mean or hard sort of brambles, and the vales, which are valleys. Licentios militum per longiquid discourses. So he is by prohibiting them in this gerund with his native affability or affability. He prohibited them from having too much license as they went through their longinqua discourses. So that as they went through this far away, he wanted to stop them going too far away, or menace, or being too compact. So he's prohibiting the licensedness, which just means they can go wherever they wanted. And the discourses is just how far they're travelling. Longer means long. 14. Tama. Nevertheless, agros hostiles, the enemy's fields, divites, were rich in omni frugum genere, in all types of frugums, which basically is fruit and crops, etc., with cum taking the ablative, the segedibus intugurus, he permitted to be burnt in flammarade. And so these are crops that are grown in fields. Segedibus intugurus are the word for huts. You might make a daily dictionary word in a minute. And thus, demon finally, cum usi necessari abunde sibi quisque. So when each person, quisque, had collegisated for themselves dative, what they would use dative, which is necessary, and it was in abundance, and hoc modo. In this way, he sorciabated, so he wounded the salus hostium nescorum. This looks like genitives. So this way he wounded the safety of the enemy who were not knowing what's going on. So it's not really that confusing. He's just likes burning things down and stealing lots of things and grain, etc. Now I did set up this website here. It's called No Dictionaries, And you can see this section, idioque, and it has a little, so if you want to know what velibus is, it'll tell you that veils, light armed soldiers, skirmishers, scudabator, etc. Adfabilitate, that's the ablative word of this adjective. Adfabilis means friendly, courteous, or affability, affable. And that's the whole section there, and it's got all the books of the histories in here. Here we just read the nevertheless the enemy's field of all their types of fruits. Tugorus would be a tugorium, neuter, a cottage, huts basically. The segs, which we see here in the ablative plural, segetus, these are grain fields or crops. So that's one way of reading it if you don't know your vocabulary, and pick one of them for your daily dictionary, I suppose. That's nearly it for the day. Bellators anem libera. So we have anem for the bellators. These are warriors who fight. Bellator comes from bellum, to fight. Libenter, they gladly or freely. They were utabantering, comes from utor, using, takes the ablative. Proprius means what's your own. Quasitus is what you've earned or income, and dexterous is your right hand. So these warriors gladly used the things which their own hands had gained for them. Alia virtutus sua horia reperisse existence. So here we have a present participle. They were thinking, what they had found was alia horia, which is other granaries they had found with their own virtues or valor. And latai, that's I means it's plural, so they were happy. Quod because vitae quoque subsidis ad fluens elementa. So they were preserving, servabating, the elementas, things they use for nourishment, the things which their navigus but so they were saving the things which their ships had carried, because they were carrying their supplies, and subsidis here. So they'd found another way of getting their food for their lives, vitae, and so they burned a lot of places down, stole a lot of food, etc., and they would use this, and they were preserving all the affluent stuff that their ships were carrying. Hic here, vino gravis quidem temarius mille. So a quidem mille means a certain soldier who was gravis with wine, heavy with wine. He was temarius, means he was rash. And adulterium ripam, nullo urgente, and he transgressus, which is a perfect participle. So he crossed over to the ulterior ripam, the other ripam, with this little ablative section, with no one urging him, with no one's encouragement or order. And in conspecto nostro, in our sight, ab hostibus captus, he was captured by the enemy, and occisus means he was killed. Okay, that's it for the day. And if I go back to this, I'll cut and paste that there. That's the site. No dictionaries, Ammianus history, and we're reading book 24, chapter 1. So whatever daily dictionary word will we take out of this? Probably affabilitate, which was affable, or tugorius if you want a noun. Depends if you want a noun or adjective, and that'll do for the day.